Welcome back and Merry Christmas to all. I know we have a lot of serious issues on the table to worry about for this Christmas, so let's go ahead and talk about what they are. The SEC suing Ripple and then issuing new letters protecting dealer brokers for digital asset securities and so much more. In fact, are we about to see XRP become a global stablecoin, which could be a security? Roll that beautiful intro and let's get into this thing.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradley above at the top of the screen, and everything that we're talking about here today. Oh my, falling like a manhole cover from the sky. 27 cents, 0.2742 cents. You heard it right. XRP is 27 cents this morning. Yike-a-rumba. Yeah, down from 35 cents to 22 cents. This has been horrendous for the asset and us as holders. Ripple is being sued by SEC at this point from 2013 to present day, and it's not just Ripple, it's Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson personally. And I think that's an important demarcation there to note. Now, as we move forward with this information, I want to be very clear. I do not believe XRP is a security, but I also believe that we have to leave the conversation open for the potential that it does get some kind of security designation, which could be outside of what our traditional security definition of a stock could be. Remember, this is a brand new asset class. XRP is fortunate in the regard that for many reasons, but for the fact that it actually does what it says it can do. It has proven in real time, like examples of MoneyGram, that it can do what it says it can do. However, today, as part of the conversation, I do want to talk about the idea of the potential security designation because potentially, maybe, this is speculative, maybe the security designation would be to protect the sovereign dollars and fiat dollars of the world, aka the US dollar and other major currencies. If XRP were to be adopted as a bridge asset, a la global stablecoin, and maybe having a security designation would allow it to operate at a very high level of price, which we know it would need to be to settle the world's transactions, but then at the same time not be able to challenge the dominance of sovereign currencies around the world because it is a security and not technically a currency, at least here in the United States. As we move forward, I do want to remind you that no matter how bad the news is for me to hear, the world thinks it's XRP as a currency, broadly speaking. What we are discussing here about a security issue is solely here in the United States at this point. Let's keep moving. As we move forward here with the information, yesterday Bitwise said they were delisting XRP. Today, BitTrue says due to recent events, we will no longer be able to offer XRP purchases using credit cards for users in the United States per Simplex CC, which is the service they use to process credit card transactions. Then we hear now from Cryptic Poet, shout out to him, a spokesperson for Coinbase thinks exchanges are bound to delist XRP. The beginning of the end for Ripple and XRP as Coinbase considers its options. There'll be more on that in a second. But I want you to ask yourself right now if you're prepared to move forward with your investment, knowing that Coinbases and other exchanges have begun to delist XRP, like Bitwise. Now, the purchasing of it from BitTrue, they haven't delisted it, so to speak. They're just not allowing any further purchases at BitTrue at this point. But you can see the narrative starting to continue, right? So ask yourself, what would you do if Coinbase said that they were going to delist XRP? We're going to be more on that in a moment. Then we had SBI, and this is a translation here from Bank XRP, and it basically just gives out the information from SBI backing Ripple and XRP and saying, hey, there's no way we own shares in Ripple. We've been an investor here, and by no means are Ripple and XRP the same thing. And that's really what they're saying here. I'm not going to read it to you, but you get it. It was in support of Ripple and XRP that they put out this letter from Yoshitaka Kitao and SBI. Now, recently here, MoneyGram distanced itself from Ripple following the SEC lawsuit. You don't say. Well, that isn't all. I also want to point out the fact that, and it's wise for a company to just distance themselves a little bit while a partner or someone they're working with is having issues, right? But I think we just found out why Ripple recently decided to shed 33% of its total stake in MoneyGram. I think they understood when they did that they were about to be sued by the SEC. This, I believe, was a smart strategic move to try to minimize their position with MoneyGram, to also minimize the ability of an impact to MoneyGram's business, period. The other thing I want to remind people of as we move through this process, the SEC charges Amazon finance manager and family with insider trading. Why am I showing you this? Because this is what the SEC does. And although this feels like we're being, we're being, circled out or pointed out here, to me, in my mind, I think it's good to remind ourselves that Amazon's still doing business. Elon Musk settles the SEC fraud charges, Tesla charged with and resolved securities law charge, and Musk paid $40 million in penalties. Now, I'm showing you this because this is not the end for Amazon, and it wasn't the end for Tesla. And I don't believe that this is the end for Ripple or XRP. I also want to remind you that as we move forward here, XRP is a global asset, decentralized asset on an open source permissionless technology. And the reality is that broadly speaking across the world, 95% of Ripple's customer base sees XRP as a currency. So anytime you get hung up in this idea of what the hell's going on here, remind yourself that the world is bigger than the United States, although I do believe that the United States is going to be the final keystone to drop and get this thing in place. And I believe, as ugly and crazy and uncomfortable as this may feel, I also believe that this is the path. This is the process. This is what it takes to reach the ultimate end goal of XRP's final destination. I really do believe XRP is the most eloquent solution and for bridge currency settlement between transactions, whether that be fiat, whether that be securities, whether that be commodities that are tokenized, securities, real estate, right, tokenized. I believe back end XRP is the settlement for that. And I also believe that definition makes XRP by default a opportunity to become a global stablecoin. Michael Val 5link says here, I'm aware of no instance in which the simple announcement of a commission enforcement proceeding has, absent allegations of fraud, misrepresentation, or omission, caused multi-billion dollars to innocent third parties, which is us. And might I add to that, first of all, I do believe that this is erroneous, and I also believe that there's another path that we need to consider here when it comes to the SEC. But, the SEC claims that what they're doing is to protect investors. They're suing Ripple from 2013 to present day. How exactly were you protecting all of us, Securities Exchange Commission, a la Jay Clayton, Hester Peirce, and the rest of you at the SEC? How is it you were protecting all of us for 7 years while you watched this said unregistered security do business to the order and magnitude that they've done? I think this is the finest example of the SEC's incompetence because that's exactly what this is, and it can't be framed another way. This is a day late and a dollar short. This conversation should have happened in 2013, 2014 at the latest. The fact that we're having this conversation and the SEC filing it to the level of a lawsuit in 2020 tells me that there's something much bigger at stake here, and I think it's about the designation of where we're going with XRP broadly. And to build on that, let's keep going here because Mr. C lays out a nice little framework to think about here. Shout out to Papa Cugs, and this just makes sense to me. You know, in times like this, when things are very unsure and they just seem like everything is crazy, a wise old man told me once, be still a minute. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Pay attention to the bigger moves. SEC files a suit. Clayton resigns next day. SEC releases new considerations next day, which is, by the way, we're getting into that in a second. Brian Brooks likes it. Open your eyes. This has nothing to do with the XRP being a security. This is the world witnessing XRP get the green light. Enjoy. I firmly believe, as ugly as all of this looks, I believe that is exactly what's happening. We are on our way to get the green light to what I believe will be a global stablecoin designation. And that may include XRP becoming a security for that designation. We'll get on that in a second. But understanding the timeline and the points of that are made here by Mr. C. In a Christmas present for cryptocurrency industry, broker-dealers who abide by existing rules while holding security tokens in custody will not face enforcement action for the next 5 years. The SEC is showing mercy to the security token industry. So, they're claiming we're an unregistered security. So, in fact, let's just for a moment suppose that the SEC makes their case and we become a security designation here. That means Ripple's going to pay a lot of fines, but XRP is not going away. That's the bottom line. And at the end of the day, we just need to find out what our path is to remain holders of the asset so we can experience the gains. Brian Brooks comes out, acting comptroller of the currency, praises the president's working group statement on cryptocurrency. Well, let's take a look at that short little statement, because within that statement, they're really talking about the idea of financial markets statement on key regulatory supervisory issues relevant to certain stable coins. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but I do want to let you know that they lean into the idea of the financial FinCEN and FINRA and the whole idea of the regulation, the AML, KYC, FATF from the international level, right? All of this, the FSB. But what they say right here is pretty important. And what it says, and I'm going to go ahead and zoom this in so you all can see, depending on its design and other factors, a stablecoin may constitute a security, a commodity, or derivative subject to the U.S. federal securities commodity and or derivatives laws. If so, the federal securities laws and or the Commodity Exchange Act, the CEA, would govern the stablecoin itself. Transactions in and or participants involved in the stablecoin arrangement, whether a stablecoin is a security, commodity, or derivative, will depend on relevant facts and circumstances. So Brian Brooks praised this document coming out from the President's Working Group on stablecoins. He is in support of this document and the idea that stablecoins could be a security. Now, that leans back into the notion of the FSB on the international level. Remember that we had determined here that there is a top-down approach from the international level to the domestic level. The Financial Stability Board has recommended many times, and even as recent as October here, that they set out for recommendations for regulating and supervision of oversight of global stablecoin arrangements are expected to adhere to all applicable regulatory standards and to address risks to financial stability before commencing operation and to adapt to new regulatory requirements as necessary. so-called stablecoins are a specific category of crypto assets which have the potential to enhance the efficiency of the provision of financial services, but also generate risk to financial stability, particularly if they are adopted at significant scale. Now, coming back to the document here, I just want to go to page 1, and let me minimize this so I can see what I got here. And I want to come back here, and I read you that part. Let me go to page 4 here, because there is a spot down here on page 4 I wanted to highlight as well. Let's see here. Okay, so here, U.S. authorities will continue to assess the evolving technological and market landscape and U.S. regulatory framework for oversight of stablecoin arrangements to enable responsible innovation that protects end users and to address potential risks to the financial system. Right? What's important about this is to understand that the U.S. authorities evaluate stablecoin arrangements that may identify additional issues relating to the authority and coordination of U.S. regulatory activities. Now, let me come back here to page 1, because there was something on page 1 I also wanted to highlight as well, which I believe was in the very beginning here. And it's right here. Digital payments, including U.S. dollar-backed and other stablecoin arrangements used as payment systems. Stablecoin arrangements used as payment systems. Protocols, XRP ledger. Think about these things, right? It doesn't say that, but that's what keys in my mind. Have the potential to improve efficiencies, increase competition, lower cost, and foster broader financial inclusion. Digital payment systems, as Brian Brooks has told us, blockchain and DLT is a payment network. Including stablecoin arrangements, should be designed and operated in responsible manner that effectively manage risk and maintain the continued stability of the U.S. domestic and international financial and monetary systems. This, to me, is starting to lean into the idea that if they were to, and I don't know the answer to this, I'm speculating here, but if they were to give XRP a special security designation, would it allow them to drive the value of XRP as a bridge currency to this extremely high level to handle the utility of the world in so many different areas of industry that we talk about all the time? But because of its security designation, would that give it an advantage to the monetary system to never be challenged by XRP to be a world currency and remain a bridge asset, a la global stablecoin? That is food for thought. The other food for thought is, again, with the top-down approach we see here, Augustin Carstens highlighted the need to address financial stability issues, as well as competition and data risk when considering big fintech regulation at the 8th of December meeting at the Dialogue on Global Digital Finance Governance. Ladies and gentlemen, I really do believe we are about to get a global stablecoin designation. And I really do believe XRP is going to be one of those coins, if not the only coin at this point. I really do believe that. And I know it feels scary and things are at 27 cents and what's going on with the US and the SEC. But I really feel like that might be the path that we're headed on. And I got to remind you, this is not financial advice at all. I'm not here to change your mind. But I am here for 4 and 5 digit XRP, and I'm not leaving until I get it. Zero or hero. This is where I am. In the United States, these obligations include registration with Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, FinCEN, developing, implementing, and maintaining effective anti-money laundering program. Remember, I have talked to you here because it says stablecoins need more supervision and may be securities, just like I showed you in that document, right, from the President's Working Group. I like I said, I don't know if there's an advantage to the sovereign currencies, especially the US dollar, to give a designation to XRP, which may be a special designation because we know some things here now. I mean, again, this is highlighting stablecoins need more supervision and maybe securities, according to the presidential advisory group, which we just read to you. The other thing is that we also heard in the beginning of this video about how Coinbase may be looking at its options to delist XRP, and maybe it does. But this is what we know from 2018. Coinbase said in 2018 says it now has regulatory approval to list security tokens, which I find interesting because we know that the SEC also threw out a bone and said that we're not going to pursue any action against anybody for the next 5 years that is properly a broker-dealer for digital asset securities. Right? Right. So the question is this still relevant that Coinbase can list security tokens? Because if they can, that tells me they must have a broker-dealer license, and they won't get in trouble for 5 years if they're listing XRP. The other point to this is maybe they do have clearance to do this, but in order to actually move forward, they may have to delist it and then relist it. Does that sound like bull hockey? Sure, but it also sounds like the kind of ridiculousness that we've been watching already. What is normal in the moment we're in now? So we'll keep a close eye on that, but be prepared to see more exchanges delist or stop offering purchases at the very least. Stuart Al-Irani is where I keep coming back to. I made a video yesterday. If you didn't see it, the big reveal, I highly suggest you watch it. I will put it in the suggestion card at about 21 minutes and 38 seconds. I'm writing the time down, so it's pegged right here at the top right of your screen. You will see it drop down. Watch that video. Ripple test, not Howey test. Goodbye Howey test, hello Ripple test. I made a video yesterday that I strongly believe one of the main things we may be looking at here is a new test that is created for the new office that the SEC has come up with, that they are launching a new division and a new office specifically to monitor digital assets, which would tell me that if the SEC as it is has a Howey test, then the new division for the SEC for digital assets is going to need a Ripple test. And you can't have that Ripple test unless you get it the same way that you got the Howey test, because the Howey test was derived to figure out 4 different parameters or principles, questions, tenets that are looked at to decide whether something is a security or not. It's an ad hoc test. It's open and vague, but as it is designed to be. I feel like we need that same kind of test for the new SEC division. And the way they came up the Howey test was through a Supreme Court decision that they had with the SEC versus Howey. And that is how the Howey test became the Howey test. And I believe if we're going to have a Ripple test in a new SEC division monitoring digital assets, that's how we're going to get the Ripple test. Finally, I want you to think about this. Look through all the melees of this. Is it a security? Isn't it a security? And exchanges are taking it off and not listening, no more purchasing. All of this business, which is scary, but I'm here for the long haul. And everybody's got to figure out and follow their own path. Imagine. Flair says imagine. As they share this from Maya, imagine a scenario where XRP was a part of the DeFi, vaults, synthetics, and CDSs. Imagine. This is what Flair's saying. Imagine that. Just as Maya is saying. Shout out to Flair Networks. I like how Zaif Al-Zirani lays it down. He says, is it? Well, if you believe that XRP's final destination is a global stablecoin, then all of these things that are mentioned here would be attached back end for settlement, at the very least, with XRP. That's going to do it for me. Before I get out of here, I like to showcase the audience members. Here's one right here. This is Jeff, who has Unchained Network. It's a gaming channel. And if any of you are out here into gaming, he said he needs your support. He said he's not an expert gamer, but if you love humor and watching some great fails while playing games, then to go subscribe to his channel. And it does see, I've checked out several videos and they do seem like a lot of fun. He's got a great sense of humor. So make sure you check out that channel if you love gaming. Hit that like and subscribe for Jeff. And I hope all of you have a wonderful Merry Christmas Eve and a happy holidays, happy Hanukkah to everybody out here. I hope you all are with family and friends during this time and people that you just love and care about. And take time to reflect on each other and what's going on with each other's lives and let this stuff sit a minute. Like I said, a wise old man told me once, when things get crazy, just be still a minute. And that's what I'm going to do. Hit that like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Share with somebody you know and hit that notification bell. Make sure you check out all the links in the description box and the comment section. They are products and services that I use every single day, and they are vetted, trusted links. Make no mistake about it. Protect yourself out here. I'll catch you on the next one.